Hey, Capers, how you doing? This is Chris, the Film School Dropout, and this is Capes Eat Free. This is a segment that I usually call Capes Eat Free on TV, where we do TV shows. So,
we're going to talk about some TV shows today. Folks.
Yes, we are going to talk about some TV shows. This is Chris, and yes, I have a special guest with me.
You don't remember my name, do you?
I do. And we have a special guest with us. Today we have the professor.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, he does sound smart, right? Well, we're going to test that knowledge. This is Capes Eat Free on TV.
Capes Eat Free on TV.
And today we are doing actually we're going to cover a TV show, our HBO Max. We should be doing more HBO Maxes, I think.
Yeah, we should be doing more HBO Max. This is the biggest direct to HBO Max series ever.
As of yet, from
So
what I
far.
hear, more is coming, but...
I think they've renewed it for season 2.
Oh, yeah?
But I heard it from an unreliable source who continually says things that are not true.
Oh, yeah, I have tons of those. Usually they're special guests. So... But yes, we are today. We're doing the Peacemaker.
Have you ever heard of a guy named Peacemaker?
No.
James Gunn written and directed, or at least directed most of the episodes. So, which was a surprise.
And wrote all the episodes.
And wrote them all. Yes, he wrote the series. I believe he had this planned from coming right off of Suicide Squad, like just the storyline.
The story is that he wrote it while finishing Suicide Squad. Because of the pandemic, everything kind of got delayed, so he was finishing it, and he just was in love with the John Cena character of Peacemaker and was like, hey, I want to do a deeper dive into Peacemaker. So that's the story.
See, okay, so with that, could that have been because, at the end of Suicide Squad, which I'm sure you've all seen Suicide Squad, he gets shot, but they save his life in the credit scene. So with that information, would the credit scene been added on afterward to keep him alive?
Oh, could they just have added that in?
I mean, they do that all the time sometimes.
Yeah, all the time sometimes. That's how Hollywood works.
Yeah, because you want to know something? In that scene, Harcourt and Economist is in that the scene at the end, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's punishment for...
And then they're the stars of Peacemaker.
And the co-star Peacemaker is not in that end scene.
No, just
Adebayo.
Adebayo, yeah. But she wasn't in Suicide Squad. But that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I won't say I know that deep into Amanda Waller's lore, but does she have a daughter?
Holy fuck, your mother is Amanda Waller?
I didn't know she had a daughter.
I mean, let's be realistic. Amanda Waller could have 3 husbands and 17 kids, and that would still probably fit canon.
Not with an attitude like that.
She's mysterious.
Well, she's keeping her husband's hostage, I guess.
Not concurrently.
Hey, and I'm not going to say it's not out of her wheelhouse either.
It's definitely something she would do, I think.
This show kicks off like directly after Peacemaker saved.
Sort of.
Yeah, and it's kind of like one of the things James Gunn, and he did speak about this, how he loved to use these D-list, F-list characters from DC that weren't popular, and I guess he could get to play with them, but he liked to use those. And that's what he liked to use in Suicide Squad when he killed most of the people at the very beginning of the show.
Yeah,
and in this thing, Peacemaker is not a big popular character.
No, I don't think Peacemaker's a popular character. Like, I had never heard of Peacemaker before Suicide Squad.
There's no superhero called Peacemaker.
Dude, I'm fucking famous.
Not that famous.
Right. And
So I was like, oh yeah, he's like the Captain America ripoff
yeah.
that DC had. Like, we need somebody that's like Captain America but different. Oh,
Yeah,
we'll call him Peacemaker.
And he's like this anti-hero who's, bad guy sometimes. I mean, maybe, I guess if you go Marvel, maybe something like Captain America and then like a Punisher where, he's bad, but he kills a bunch of people, but he does it for a good reason. And his reason is peace.
By killing anyone.
I made a vow to have peace, no matter how many people I have to kill to get it.
So I will say I love the James Gunn interpretation of him. I would say James Gunn and John Cena, because from what I heard, John Cena had a lot of input on this character.
I would hope so.
He did.
It definitely seems like John Cena. I mean, James Gunn's a brilliant writer, but I think he's writing it specifically for Cena. Cena is taking it, saying it about this, contributing a lot to it.
I remember seeing an interview with James Gunn, and he did say that two of the best actors he's worked with was John Cena and Chris Pratt because of their active role in creating these characters.
I think that's probably a little bit accurate, but also he made those comments promoting Peacemaker. So he's not going to be like, oh, the two best actors I worked with were Chris Pratt and Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
So did you like Peacemaker?
I did like Peacemaker.
I mean, we're recording an episode about it, so I guess that
I will record an episode about a show I don't like too.
Yeah.
So, but this one I actually did. I was actually surprised by it. I was surprised at how fun it was. I mean, there was some. I mean, I have some critiques which I'm going to go over, but for the most part, if you like I said, if you like Suicide Squad, I think you'll like this. I think you'll like Peacemaker.
I'm going to go one further there. Mm-hmm. I think this is better than Suicide Squad.
What?
Whoa.
I think it's funnier. Like, it's a more intimate portrayal.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's not just like, how many people can we kill in 30 seconds for the humor of it.
Okay, did you like the Peacemaker character in Suicide Squad?
No, not that much. I thought it was just like a tool. Like,
yeah, and I mean, the good thing about the show is that, yes, he comes off as this tool. He comes off as comic relief to, Idris Elba. as all the other Suicide Squad characters do.
Yeah. I mean, Peacemaker's the jester in Suicide Squad, but here you get like an intimate portrayal. The great thing about the TV show is that they're building these as basically 4-hour, 5-hour movies.
No, I mean Disney Plus. They're taking it right off the Disney Plus playbook.
Yeah. I mean, but that's a good playbook to steal from.
Yeah. No, especially with this, like, building this DCEU universe, not just like
this is probably heresy to say. Also, I haven't seen all the other ones, so I don't know. But this is probably my favorite DCEU piece.
Wow.
And definitely
TV movies.
Yeah,
period?
definitely makes me look forward to other DC Universe stuff.
Okay, because I mean, I did hear a rumor that Ratcatcher is getting her own series.
That might be a bit too far. I don't know about that one.
Sorry, Ratcatcher 2.
Ratcatcher 2. Ratcatcher series might be good. Ratcatcher 2, I don't know about.
But no, I was gonna say with because I agree with the whole Peacemaker character. You see this like two-dimensional character in Suicide Squad. And I don't want to say two-dimensional because it sounds bad, and I just think he was more of a just a minor character.
Yeah.
And then you get to see a deep dive into his psyche and where all these motivations come from. The joke that, I'm for peace by any means necessary, and I'll kill as many people to get it. You see where that actually comes from. You see that, like, how he has to like overcompensate for his father's love
or
his father's acceptance. Yeah. Yeah. If you haven't watched it, watch it, because we're gonna go into some spoilers now. So. Because it starts off at the beginning. I remember this part where he comes out before he gets released. He's talking to the janitor.
Oh, Peacemaker!
Yes!
You're that racist superhero!
No!
You only kill minorities, man!
I killed a fair amount of white people, too.
The ratio is suspect is all I have to say.
He makes this comment, but then like later on it kind of builds on that because you find out his father's like the grand dragon of supervillains. Even though he doesn't know this, he has this kind of like deep drive to kind of deep ingrained to get his father's acceptance. He probably doesn't even realize it.
Oh, so you think he kills more non-white people because he's the son of the
right? Well, what his vision of
the white knight, white dragon.
Yeah, the white dragon. His father always just saw, people that weren't white as bad. So him growing up, if he's taking out bad guys, he would see.
So I mean, I think we all picture Peacemaker as like definitely killing more non-white people than white people. But do we actually see this happen?
No.
Because, I mean, yeah, he's on the island in Suicide Squad, so there's going to be less white people there to kill. But we don't see, like, his total victim count and be like, oh, yeah, this guy's definitely racist. However, we all, like, that entire scene with the janitor is a complete setup for the like, oh, you're the racist superhero.
Right.
The whole thing is a setup for that. It's kind of funny. Now,
And he didn't mean to, but this is just what his upbringing is.
now is the white dragon a character or a comic book character of note?
Yes.
Is that canon? That the
White
Peacemaker
Dragon is canon. And this is only because I didn't really read Peacemaker comics, so I don't know.
No,
but I did. But I do know it's canon.
Okay.
But I do know it's canon. I don't know how accurate a portrayal is. So hey, if you do know, just go ahead.
I mean,
Pump your
Robert Patrick
compliments.
pretty much had free reign, I think.
Oh yeah, no, Robert Patrick's performance.
Robert Pattinson.
Wrong DC.
Wrong, Robert. Wrong, DC.
The hell are you supposed to be? I'm vengeance.
Robert Patrick's performance was excellent. I do think he had free reign. I think that he kind of just grabbed that character and he just came off like this racist son of a bitch.
Very happy for the ending. And if you haven't seen the whole thing, we're talking about when Peacemaker kills his father. They didn't just like, oh, okay, he's dead. Like he actually had like a little bit of emotional breakdown around the whole thing. But I thought that he handled that. I thought that was great for them to go through and do.
Yeah, you get to see some of those John Cena acting chops. You know.
Yeah. I mean, between the Dove of Peace, which I'm still not sure why it's upside down.
Where's the Dove of Peace?
The what?
The Dove of Peace, my trademark. It's engraved on all my weapons, my tomahawk, my sword, my blow darts, my pistol.
You wanted us to stop and take the sniper rifle to an engraver and put a dove of peace on it.
Yeah.
But he's got to have the, between insisting upon having the Dove of Peace on everything and like the emotional breakdown. I'm like, okay, these are the kind of like the really weird points that make his character kind of like, all right, do we have to do this? Some of it, yeah.
Right. Well, this is one of the things I just like about, when they play these anti-heroes, like even from the first Suicide Squad, you have to make these bad guys likable. At the end of Suicide Squad, Peacemaker wasn't likable. He killed Rick Flag. And then you see him freaking out in like episode 1. He's at home. He's kind of like beating himself up that people hate him because of that.
Everybody fucking hates you. Fucking dick. You killed Rick Flag.
And it's kind of like, yeah, well, everyone did hate him because of that. I mean, coming off of Suicide Squad. But they had to build, so they built this character. I mean, throughout this thing, you wind up liking Peacemaker and forgetting that he was a tool and killed Rick Flag.
Yeah. But I mean, they also made that a pretty major point and reoccurring point.
Yeah.
That I think it worked really well to pull all of those things together.
Yeah, we have Hardcore actually calling him a piece of crap murderer.
Yeah. Killing Rick Flag.
Yeah.
Not cool. He loses his nerve.
Yeah.
Multiple times in the whole show.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to kill anymore. I mean, I think that was a great build to like kind of slowly making this character more likable. He's like, well, I'm realizing the mistakes of my past and I want to start doing better. So, by the end of the series, you're like, hey, I like Peacemaker, even though, he is still a murderer. He still killed a lot of people before he was even put in jail in Suicide Squad.
So let's talk a little bit, because this will be a good transition, right? We had the intro scene with the janitor.
Yes.
Which sets up the dance opening. How many times did you watch the dance opening?
I've watched it, well, I would say a couple times, the first couple times. And then, you skip over it.
You skip over it. All right. Because I've heard other people who are like, yeah, I can't skip over it. They're like, I have to watch it every time.
And
it's the same opening every time. We've heard James Gunn say, oh, it's different. It opens up new things. I don't see anything different. Like they did it one time.
Yeah, I was going to go back and look after I heard James Gunn saying that it's actually different each time, but I haven't yet. So if you know.
I was watching for differences. I'm like, there's got to be little things. No, same thing every time. Every time that I've seen it, it was the same. Now,
even the music,
I could be completely wrong. Music's same. We'll talk about the music in a second. But yeah, the opening dance number, like people love it because it's corny. It confused the shit out of me the first time because I'm like, who are all these people?
Right.
They must be major characters if they're in the opening. And they're not. like his father's neighbor,
Yeah.
and the janitor. The janitor at least does have another couple of appearances. Yeah, the neighbor, and
like the
Kung
wife.
Fu.
Let's talk Judo Master again,
Yeah.
because I didn't get his full. I mean, I felt like yes, when he was actually working for them. I figured he was just a paid thug, but then he seemed to have a heart and like wanted to like stick up for the butterflies' cause. In this thing, the butterflies are pretty much like eco-friendly aliens that want to save the Earth from the people using up all the resources and going extinct, kind of like what Thanos is doing, but a different way. So they would take over. The whole plan is like to take over people, take over people's minds, get in prominent positions, and try to change the course of us, I guess, destroying our planet. So that's their master plan. So they're big
So
tree
inherently, Amanda Waller's organization, what is it, Argus, Peacemaker, still bad dudes because they kill somebody who's trying to help the human race. Still a bunch of shitheads.
Yeah.
So that's the big overarching.
But
story.
the Judo Master, because at first you find out that
Judo
they're
Master.
they're fighting him. When he gets beat, he's actually trying to tell Peacemaker that he's fighting for a better cause, and it's not what they think.
Butterflies, they're not what you think they are.
And so I'm like, okay, cool. This can be some bigger thing. You find out this was the cause, and they're still taking over people's brains. At the end, you see Judo Master break down and cry because the butterflies are killed. That part I didn't exactly get. I mean, I didn't see his, I guess, why he is so passionate about that, to the point where he's like crying and breaking down like it's his kid that got killed or something. That is a question that I'm gonna ask James Gunn. What
was up with Judo Master
What was
crying so hard?
Yeah, why was his motivation? I don't.
What was his motivation?
I mean,
now you're going to
was he like really that deep into saving the Earth that he was this hardcore into the cause?
I think it was his thing. He's a sensitive guy. Judo Master is a sensitive guy.
So they didn't have to take over his brain.
We
'cause
assume
he's like,
it's a guy. Judo Master may not be a guy. We're not sure.
Did they ever take off his? They didn't take off his mask. Oh. That's DC trope. They never take off their masks when they can. I mean, I feel like in real life.
I mean,
heroes,
for
their
a
masks get taken
while,
off
I
all the time.
assumed that Judo Master was the superhero alter ego of the police detective.
Oh,
But
wow,
they're
okay.
not.
No, not at all.
Not at all. So, not that. But I was like, oh, maybe there's an alter ego thing going on here. No, not at all.
Hardcore and Economist. I mean, I love their parts in the Suicide Squad. I mean, obviously minor, not thinking they're going to be doing anything more. They get put on punishment and put on this like assignment, which I feel like, yeah, it might be punishment because you're working with Peacemaker, but this seems like a real mission.
Yeah,
that required a lot more help
versus just like sitting back in the control room
and
apparently Hardcore is like, this is her Jones, like she's going for that.
She's badass. So what was she behind the desk in the first place? Yeah, I mean, I know why Economist was.
But he shows up.
No, he shows up. And when he takes out Judo Master, I actually felt for him. There's a scene where everyone goes to try to save Vigilante and Peacemaker, and they leave Economist to watch and make sure nobody gets away. He sees Judo Master getting away, and he has to stop him. I was like, how is he going to stop Judo Master?
He figured it out.
He had to find a way, and it was actually plausible.
Economist, motherfucker. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the other characters, the new characters. So we got Adebayo.
Adebayo.
We got Myrn.
Myrrh. Yeah, Myrrh. Which,
okay.
I mean, apparently Myrrh's is bad, like another badass secret agent, but he's kind of
He's
he
like
kind of
the
does their
male
wet
version
work.
of Amanda Waller.
Yeah, he seems like he does their wet work.
Yeah. Well, and it comes out because the butterfly, that's just taking over Myrrh is like, I picked the worst person I could find.
So yeah, he's supposed to be a good butterfly. When we find out later on that there's a butterfly inside of Myrrh, and he says he's fighting against the other butterflies. He picked the worst person because he knows when he takes over somebody, they die. He actually had compassion to pick the worst person, so he's kind of like, still taking somebody out that's bad. He's trying to do good with it.
So he's trying to stop the butterflies who are trying to save the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and save the world in their way.
But what does he want to do? He just wants to like not be there, or does he want to go back to the original plan, which was we're just going to live here? And
that's a good question. My 2 cents, my interpretation is that he wants to go back to the original plan. He doesn't want to like kill everybody. I guess he's against this whole world domination because their ultimate plan is we have to force everyone. We have to force the humans to save their own planet. Which, I guess it's, possible. It's plausible because, hey, if you want to save this planet, sometimes you got to do it by force. That's a commercial for the butterflies. No, but no, but I mean, that's just a point of view because, if we're destroying our planet and we'll continue to do that because it's in our self-interest and it won't change until, it's already all destroyed. Their view of it is, oh, we just got to like make them do it.
Yeah, I think that to me is exactly what would happen. Exactly what would happen.
Yeah, but I do want to say this because they actually bring this up too. He says at the beginning, like, this is called Project Butterfly before we even find out they're butterflies, and he makes a joke about it because obviously in Suicide Squad they had Project Starfish and they wanted to bring a giant starfish. He makes this comment about it. Well, is this gonna be a giant butterfly? And they kind of like play it off. Even I think Murray even plays it off and says, "Oh, not everything is just that." But then when they finally shoot golf and a butterfly flies out, Project Butterfly. So I want to know who's naming these things because it's supposed to be a secret for a secret operation. I feel like the name is kind of blatantly out there, but.
Yeah, but then everybody knows what it is as soon as they're like, oh, Project Butterfly. Yeah, that's about the butterflies.
Yeah.
Project Starfish. Oh, that's the giant fucking starfish that's in some Caribbean country. So, yeah. No, I'm okay with it.
No, I think it's funny, yeah.
What I thought was odd from a story arc structure, you don't understand the butterfly piece, and you don't understand the enemy, the bad guy in the story until pretty far into the story. Like, it's episode 3? At the end of 3?
Well, episode 3 is when you discover that they're butterflies.
Right. But so you go through the, you
yeah.
see the weird chick, you see the behavior, we see what happens. And they're like, oh, these are bad people. But you don't understand, like, what it is. It just seems like really far into the story to have that hook. Be like, oh, yeah, this is an alien species that's invaded, that's taken over.
Well, I would say yeah, but I mean, I think it's good in the sense that obviously that wasn't the focus because at the time they were building Peacemaker's character in these first couple episodes. Yes, their plan I feel like is Butterfly, but that wasn't the important part.
They're building that more than all the characters, right?
They're building them all, yes.
And
so I think they did a great job building to that. We learned about the butterflies, episode 3. I mean, the cliffhangers on each of these episodes made you want to turn on to the next one.
Well, do you think that was in any way related to the fact that the first 3 episodes were released all at the same time? And then it was weekly from then on out.
See, I watched them all together when they were all done, but yeah. Or I should say I watched them all right before the last one came out. So, but I do agree with that, yeah. I think it gets you hooked, and then right when you found the butterflies and you kind of like got to know everyone, you're there every week.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was, looking back on it, that was probably intentional. I did the same thing as you, right? I kind of streamed them pretty much all together.
Yeah, because that's called impatience. I don't want to wait every week.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't just if anyone in the universe is listening that has control over these things, just release it all at once. Like,
oh no, I mean, I do. The thing
don't do weekly.
I appreciate the weekly in the sense. I mean, in the sense that people actually can talk about each episode. Because I feel like some of the stuff, if you just binge it, you do. I mean, it's the episodes aren't special.
Yeah, but you can do that on your own.
You can, but do you?
This is like the same idea of, do you buy the regular size bag of pretzels, or do you buy the individually portioned 100-calorie pretzel bags because you can't control yourself? It's the exact same thing.
Okay.
If you release all of it together, I'm not going to binge them all at once. Somebody will, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take my time, watch it when I can, get through it all.
No, I'm gonna
if
lose
you
sleep.
force the schedule, I don't like it. I don't like it. I would rather watch like 2 or 3 at a time, be good, come back, watch 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Good.
Granted, I would just watch 1 or 2 at a time, personally, just because I was probably busy. But I could see myself, if I had time to kill, and there's times where I was like, all right, let me throw on 1 more before going to bed, and then I go to bed late. And
I know what happens.
I'll wake up.
You pass out while it's still playing.
Oh, no. The problem is I don't.
And then you're like, I'm on episode 9 out of 10. I haven't seen the last ones. Now I have to go back and figure out where I went to. This is just your issue.
No, actually, my issue, because I will stay up and watch them. I actually get caught up in the story and don't fall asleep on it, though I should be going to sleep.
Sure.
But
so you need the 100-calorie packs, is what you're telling me.
As far as yes, the superhero shows, yeah, I need the 100-calorie packs.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go.
Let's talk. We haven't even talked Vigilante, which actually is one of the funny and annoying characters.
I am extra special careful in all my heroic endeavors, which is probably the reason why. And I don't mean to be a prick. You went to prison, and I didn't.
Vigilante just this clinger on of Peacemaker. Personally, I want to know what he's been doing this whole time. Peacemaker's in jail. He's just been randomly out kicking butt. But
yeah, he's just been hanging out. He's your friendly neighborhood vigilante superhero who is definitely not racist. Kills way more white people than he does anybody else, apparently.
There's a bunch of rumors going around about you being racist, and, frankly, it's a little embarrassing for me. As if I become a racist by osmosis, even though I mostly kill white people. So
and the characters, pretty creative and funny. The fact that he just needs acceptance.
That's because we're born killers. What separates us from other killers is we only kill bad people. Usually. Unless there's a mistake.
Just kind of like, I feel a version of Peacemaker wanting acceptance from his father. He is kind of like the nerd kid that made himself buff and he's grown up and now he's a badass and he can do all this stuff, but he still wants to be accepted.
And he's still a nerd when he's not Peacemaker, when he's not Vigilante.
Yeah.
So that's out there. That's always going to be out there. He's always going to be that nerd. Yeah, he wants acceptance.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny that he's still trying to get acceptance from the cool kid who's a Peacemaker, even though he can kick ass, to the point where he just volunteers to help out this in this mission just to feel included.
Yeah, well, it's his friend. Doesn't matter if Peacemaker is I don't consider him a friend, but he considers Peacemaker his friend.
Peacemaker would not do this mission if he didn't have that bomb in his head still from Suicide Squad.
They don't actually bring that up a lot afterwards.
Yeah, they mention it at the beginning and that's it. So he might not even have it in his head, and they just told him that, so he just complies. But we don't say that, so we'll see if that happens in season 2 of Peacemaker, which probably is going to get approved if it's not already. But no, Vigilante, I think he's a funny, kind of fun, great character. He's just
he's way more competent than Peacemaker is.
Yes and no. He's obviously easily manipulated.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to manipulate. Okay, let me retract that. He's not way more competent because there are several instances of him being an idiot about shit.
Yes.
But from a actual fighting, he's
as a fighter, he's competent, and I feel because he sets up. He never takes his mask, so he never takes off his masks, so he can never be in a lineup and get recognized in a lineup. That's his story. But so he always has this mask on. But once his mask comes off in the show, and then people see his face, he doesn't put the mask back on. Half the time he has the mask off all the time. I'm assuming just because the actor wants to see his face act. But I feel especially when the cops were coming, he should have put his mask on. when anyone was around, he should have put his mask back on. Especially when they're fighting butterflies, they should have all had masks on, since these butterflies enter through the people's mouths. They should have put masks on to protect themselves from getting butterflied. Like Hardcore almost got when running into the middle of a fight with tons of butterflies. Why wouldn't they have a mask over their mouth? But, you know.
James Gunn, I hope you're taking notes.
Please take notes on this, yeah. But, I mean, you want to have the danger, you know, that scene where Hardcore's trying to pull that thing out of her mouth and at the last second get saved. You're not going to have that if she had a vigilante mask on. So, you know, I'm not cool.
Everybody's got to wear a vigilante mask. That's just the story there.
But, I mean, I feel like if I was doing this mission, everyone would have masks on, at least on their mouth.
All the time.
Yeah.
It'd be a true pandemic centric. It'd be like, oh, they must have filmed in LA. Everybody had to wear masks the whole film.
Yeah. He wrote this during the pandemic, but he took their masks off. Interesting. James Gunn. And I think I remember, I think I said this during the Suicide Squad podcast, but Disney screwed up when they fired James Gunn. They fired him off of Guardians because of some tweet 10 years ago. And DC was like, we don't care. They hired him. They got him to do Suicide Squad. And right when he started doing Suicide Squad, Disney wanted him back. Disney wanted him back. And so they had to push Guardians 3. They didn't think that through. Disney, yeah, I mean, you guys still do great work. It's just let's not do the knee-jerk reactions to cancel culture stuff, because you lost James Gunn. I mean, he's back now. He's back on Guardians, but it's a good thing for us because we got to see a good Suicide Squad and got to see this Peacemaker, which I do rate as pretty damn good. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's definitely been beneficial for him to be working on Guardian or be working on DCU stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously, from your comments, he saved the DCEU in your eyes because you're interested in more DCEU because of his work.
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you, like, even Suicide Squad, I was like, it's okay. It's not great. But before the recent one, I was like, yeah, this is good. Like, Wonder Woman was all right. And then Wonder Woman 84 came out, and I'm like, well, they killed this again.
Yeah. Aquaman. What did you think of Aquaman?
Haven't seen it. I hear he fucks fish, but
oh, I do want to say that because at the very end, one of the comments about at the in the Suicide Squad is, "Yo, where's Superman?" Because there's a giant starfish stomping on the city. That was one of the big comments they had afterwards. So in this one, they actually have the Justice League show up. I mean, minus Batman, but they have the Justice League show up at the very end, and Peacemaker makes a comment. It's like, oh, now you guys are too late. Kind of walks past, like, with their battle wounds after fighting.
So apparently all of that was in service of James Gunn knowing, one, I'm never going to have the budget. But he's like, I know I can get Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to put Momoa in. And Momoa was apparently very intrigued by the Aquaman fucks fish comments. And so he was like, yeah, I want to be there. And they got Flash in as the actual character, or the actor.
Yeah. I mean, mainly because I believe their movies are coming out next, so they, this helps promote their movies.
They also had Cyborg and Batman.
No, Batman, Superman.
Cyborg and Batman were written into the scene, but then DC requested they be cut because their movies coming out. So. So they just had Wonder Woman and
Superman,
with stand-ins. So
yeah, and it was kind of cool because you see them in silhouette. You see them in the distance in silhouette, and like, to me, it's like, well, they're not going to have the real ones there. And when they walk by them, you see the real Aquaman, you see the real Flash. I'm like, oh shoot, they got half of them. The Superman and Wonder Woman are still in silhouette. But no, it was I
think it was a great ending to be like, oh, thanks for coming here now. We're done. Good job.
Yeah, you guys are late, and that's kind of like, I believe it was off the comments of Suicide Squad. And the other thing, because I do like the references, because they made tons of references to DCEU stuff throughout the series, and one of the other things they tackled was, when the neighbor was telling him, well, you're not a real superhero, you're not like Batman. And he goes, do you have like a rogue gallery of villains? And he makes the comment, is like,
You want to know why I don't have a coterie of supervillains?
Why?
My coterie of supervillains is 6 feet fucking under.
There, you see, Batman doesn't kill people.
Because he's a pussy.
He's a dark creature of the night.
He's a jackass who wrestles with murderers dressed like clowns and throws them in prison so they can break out of prison and then murder more people. Riddle me this. How many people you think Batman's indirectly murdered by being too much of a candy ass not to kill these fools who clearly need to be smoked?
Which is a comic trope in the Batman lore. Because, yeah, the truth is, him leaving the Joker alive for the justice system to take care of, and he comes out and kills like 100 more people. Is that not Batman's fault?
That's kind of Batman's fault.
I'm still vengeance in the night out here.
And then obviously they make the comment of Aquaman fucking fish.
Aquaman fucks fish? Yeah. I don't believe it.
Guy on Twitter works for the aquarium. Said for $50 he brings him in the back so he can have his way with a sturgeon.
Well, and is it bad that every time they made that comment, I'm linking it to The Boys and to...
Oh. All the Boys characters are just rip-offs of DC Justice League superheroes. So yeah, they just make fun of all those tropes too.
The guy in the ocean always fucks the fish.
Yeah.
That's the rumor.
I'm so fucking sick of that rumor.
Watch The Peacemaker, I would say, because you liked it, right?
Yeah.
Overall? Okay.
I mean, I liked the whole thing. I liked the character, like the non-superhero character path, the arcs that people had. I think Adebayo, James Gunn wrote her, references her as like the true co-star for The Peacemaker.
Yeah.
I think that might be a little bit of a push, but she's supposed to be like the best friend who, doesn't know it, but they're like matched up.
Yeah.
From an arc perspective, she's got her bad things that she's overcoming.
And they're popping her in as Amanda Waller's daughter. That's a tongue twister.
Amanda Waller's daughter? I don't know.
Yeah. They got Amanda Waller to be in the show too at the beginning and the end. Do a little cameo. No, I like the character. I think her being the trustworthy character that like Peacemaker has a connection with, because Peacemaker didn't trust anyone in this team, rightfully so.
But he also calls her out like right away with like, why are you here? Like, you've got no skills. You're new. Right. Like, you're not killing anybody. You're not like,
right.
She's like, I'm good. I'm trained. I know what I'm doing. And then she doesn't actually, right? She can't pull the trigger. She's not, but she overcomes that. She gets better about it. She's good at planting diaries.
Yeah.
Eventually. So she serves as the mole for the mission, for Amanda Waller's mission. But
and she's using they plan a diary, so when this whole thing goes down, they can use Peacemaker as the scapegoat. This is Amanda Waller's plan, which makes her such a bad guy.
I'm the bad guy. Duh.
I mean, if
but
you
I still don't get that, because the diary is the real thing. Like, that's like all the real stuff. They're like, oh, this guy's crazy, blah, 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 blah. But I don't get how that resolved anything. I guess it allowed it would allow the butterflies to kill Peacemaker.
Well, the thing is, if this whole plan went to shit, he would be the scapegoat.
Okay.
It would be either they are not, if they're saying that like, oh, it's he's the one who thought all this stuff is real and he went and did all these killings and stuff. So keeping the butterflies a secret, as well as like,
having a scapegoat.
Yes.
Interesting.
But then they just use it as a trust thing where, Peacemaker loses trust.
No, I get the story purposes of it. I just don't get Amanda Waller's like why that was an outcome that she was looking for, or
Well, and the thing is, if you don't like Peacemaker, like you didn't like him in Suicide Squad, you wouldn't care that he got blamed for this. But now that we have fallen in love with him, now that we've like sympathized with him, we don't want him to go under for something he didn't do. But to Amanda Waller, she's the patsy. He's a patsy, just like all of them.
Expendable. They're all expendable.
But
should have called it The Expendables. It was taken already.
But I will say this movie's not. I mean, this TV show is not expendable. It's a very good show. You should watch it. Like I said, if you like Suicide Squad, you should watch it.
Yeah.
And even the professor says he likes it better than Suicide Squad, which is crazy. But no, it's.
I don't know. You were the guys that didn't understand why King Shark was so short. So come on. I don't know how y'all missed that.
He should be bigger. Yeah, he should have been
But
taller.
they're making fun of Sylvester Stallone the whole time. That's why he's short.
I didn't catch that.
I know you didn't catch it. I listened to the podcast and I yelled at my phone, radio, whatever it was that was playing at the time. I'm like, how do they not know this?
Well,
it's a joke. They're fucking with Sylvester Stallone. Anyway, go watch Peacemaker.
Go watch Peacemaker, yo. This is KFC free. We're gonna be out of here. Watch Peacemaker and then tune in. Catch the other podcasts. And
there's going to be a big drop of podcasts.
Oh yeah, they're coming. Let's go. This is Chris the Film School Dropout here with the professor. Capes Eat Free is on TV.
Good night and good luck.
We out.